Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Joby Bowie here. This is the OVErit Podcast. We are back for a brand new year and a brand new series. We had a few little breaks just before Christmas, so a lot of people have been asking us what's going on, where we're at, when we're coming back. Well, today we're coming back with one of my favourite guests and one of my mentors, Steve Mcnamara, who our first episode was an absolute hit. We had hundreds and hundreds of views on it, so looking forward to delving in with Steve today. But for those of you who don't know Steve, he's the CEO of Intuitive Breakthroughs. Through his journey of healing, he's found his soul purpose. He's helping people raise their consciousness. He's been featured in multiple media interviews and all around the world. And Steve is a very profound healer, and you're definitely going to get a lot of value from what he's about to teach. So for those of you who don't know you, Steve, let's talk to you a little bit about your background, who you are. For some of the people might not have seen our first interview yet, which I'll put a link into this one as well. But give us a little bit of background on yourself just before we delve into what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, you've covered it nicely. An amazing welcome again, Joby. I might just come on these all the time just to get an amazing edification and welcome. So no, it's so cool to be invited back. I love the first one, and yeah, a bit about myself. Like, definitely fell into healing and becoming a healer, and that being my sole purpose on this planet, through my own stuff going on in life, background of alcohol, drugs, violence, work really hard, but not having many relationships and really closed off to the world. And like I say, I sort of fell into the healing element of my purpose, but really found my way through personal development, attending retreats, being coached, and then also finding a love for coaching and helping others. And the journey has taken me to many parts of the world, spent a lot of time in Bali, got some great friendships with people there, a healer there who I spend a lot of time with, a brother from another mother, another planet, another dimension, but also led to South America, and we're going to touch a bit more on that, with plant medicines and shamans, and also just to other parts. Spent a bit of time in New Zealand. My soulmate Chaitanya is from New Zealand and got a little son. So all these things have sort of encompassed into what I do now and the people I'm here to serve. And yeah, I love growth. I love growing, evolving, and being able to bring any wisdom I can to the earth through my own evolution on this planet as well. So that's some sort of summary.
Yeah, it's good. I think that would be good. I'm sitting right in my back window. I've got the sun beaming down on my eyes. With me one second. I'm just going to move my curtains.
No worries, mate.
That's better. Sorry, guys. Do apologise for that. So tell us a little bit about your trips over to Bali. What was you doing over there? And
well, the first time I went to Bali, and I'm glad you asked this. I wasn't prepared for the Bali thing, but this is good. This is so relevant. Yeah, well, being in Australia, I had this perception of the world of how it was overseas. So I actually never traveled overseas. So keep that in mind when you're listening to how this rolls out. But I went over there for a retreat, a personal growth retreat. I didn't really know heaps about personal growth, but I was at a point in my life where something was missing. Worked a high intense, long hour job in the mining industry in Australia, worked away a lot, was single, didn't want to talk to women at the time. That's how disconnected I was and how lost I was, and definitely wasn't free to speak like I do now. So, but I saw my coach, who became a coach, talk on stage with someone else who has actually become a good friend of mine at an event in Queensland, where I live now, about 5 years ago, I think it was. Yeah, time is not real, who cares? But, and then I met him after that, and a mate had already been to one of his retreats, a good mate of mine. He suggested I talk to him. He's like, dude, you've got a bit of stuff going on. You're not happy with a lot of things. I think this will really benefit you. And I already sort of sussed it out, already like Googled what they did. They climb a volcano. They do all this hardcore stuff. It was called beast mode, and it was all about beast. There was a lot of elements to it that served me. There was a lot that I found out down the track that weren't serving, but that led me to Bali for the first time. And I was super confident, already in a program and already finding my way, helping people. I loved it in there. I didn't realize that I actually was good at helping others. Even though in my job as a supervisor, I was there, I was pretty significance driven, but I was telling people what to do. But it was a big element where I was helping people. But in that, I was still like, oh my God, I'm going to a retreat. I had no idea what I was in for. And it was overseas in Bali. For me, being here in Australia, all I seen about Bali was the Bali bombings. It was all this bad, negative stuff. The way fake news media is, that's little did I know. But so I had this picture of how Bali would be without me going to work on my shit, without me going over there for healing. I was already really, really in massive fear, and went over there, and I was all carrying these shirts for merchandise because I was coming from a certain place in Australia. I promised I would, and here I am reading on the form, you can't bring in merchandise. And I'm like, massive fear going into a place I'd never been before. I got to the airport and there's people holding machine guns, and I'm like, what's going on here?
In Bali, holding machine guns in Bali.
Well, that's what it was at the time, because it was high intensity around the place. It's not like that now. And have I grown to love the place? Absolutely. And the people. But this first time I went to this retreat, and it was really in my face. It really showed me a lot of stuff that I was never willing to look at. I wasn't aware that was holding me back. A lot of stuff where I was coming from my ego, or coming from a place of, well, I'm not good enough. And it really showed me a lot and gave me lots of tools, especially mindset at the time. It was healing. There was an amazing healer there. Joko is his name. If you're heading to Bali, guys, hit me up. I'd definitely put it Joko Bali Transport. He's an amazing healer, and transport it's very handy there. But I met him there, and we hit it off. But I went to a number of them retreats. I went back as a coach over time. They're all in Bali. I spent a lot of time in Bali with my then coach, who I learned a lot from. Both positive and negative, but I learned a lot. You take everything as it is in life. And also formed a friendship with one of my really, really good friends now, Regan Hillier, who is no longer with her, but that led me to
She's an incredible woman, Regan, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But Bali itself, and a lot of people, especially from down here, I don't know about from the UK. I have met a lot of people from the UK and that over there, but it's a place where people go. It is a healing place. It is one of the hot spots on the planet. If you go into the vortexes or the grid lines or the energy spots, however you want to frame it, it is for healing. It is a cleansing place. They are the keepers of time, just like the Mayans were. The Balinese, a certain specific one, and there's lots of healing that can happen there with the right intent. And it seems that by synchronicities and coincidences and all that, there are none, but it led me to interact with lots of healers there. Not intentionally, I just put it out, like a lot of healing around my body, a lot of release work around my body. Like one example of this, so random, my partner Chaitanya and I were staying in the north of Bali, and we'd never been up to the north. Well, I hadn't. She was married to a Balinese, another story. That's for her podcast down the track or whatever. But I'd never been up there. It was a bit different. It was more laid back than the other parts, like Kuta and all the places a lot of tourists and that go. And we're like, wouldn't it be good if we had like our own yoga or instructor or something like that? So we started making a few inquiries, and we got one. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. We'll just get her for like 1 day a week, just so we don't have to do our own practices and that. And she ended up being a very healing for me. She was an ex-Olympian for Indonesia. So her yoga was a bit more extreme than yoga, and it was very, very powerful. But the thing that I was working on at the time was opening my hips as a man, opening the feminine energy, and in the body, it was very painful. And she's like, oh, this is my specialty. So amazing people. And we worked on that for a month or so, but around that, like I say, it's a magical place, magical people. And it's not just sights to see there. For me, it was really, really getting me in touch with my spiritual side, with spirit. And that's what really opened the door, because that was not my thing. My background was not that. I was not open. When I went to Bali the first time, spiritual was religious to me. I really didn't have a grasp on it. And spending a lot of time there, going back, spending months at a time there, really opened up to me to that side of things, which now is basically my world. So totally open to any questions about Bali, man. I'm glad you brought it up. I love the place.
Yeah. So Bali sounds fantastic. Absolutely love that. I think we need to go and have a retreat there sometime for sure.
if you want deep healing, you get the energetic support. There's a lot of dark energy there too, but it helps with the shadow work.
Yeah,
it helps.
So shadow work's really coming up for me lately as well. I'm getting a lot of signs, shadow. So I think that's my next.
All I would suggest, don't get stuck there and don't call it in. You don't need to if something comes up.
No, of course, exactly. You don't want to be going down deep into that realm. But tell us a little bit more about what was your experience from Bali and what did you get? What did you, as a healer yourself, did you get something from yourself, and did you also get something where you can go out and then teach people how to heal themselves as well, or different techniques? What was it that you specifically picked up from being out there?
Specifically, and this was pretty profound for me, and like I say, I was a hard-ass background. I was very significant driven and very closed off. You would probably call me a typical Aussie male. I don't know what you men are like in the UK, but I think it's pretty common around the world. I was very rigid, very structured, and not very willing to get very vulnerable. The first thing when I started getting vulnerable over there, I remember it was the second retreat I was at. I was already like learning just basically by just watching my friend Joko, how he maneuvered. He worked with energy, and he was pretty well he had a mentor for a lot, but he was self-taught. And it's like, you could call a lot of the stuff he was doing Reiki, but it was more of a level. He'd get in and then he'd work with it physically. He'd get the person's body to move, and it was all intuitively. And I used to watch him, but I also could see how he could tune into people. I was actually starting to, at the second retreat we did, I could feel people when they were in their heart or when they were sad. I'm like, whoa, I didn't want to share this with anyone. And I remember him standing next to me, and he could feel it from me, and he's a cheeky bastard, but he could tell it was a bit uncomfortable. Yeah. If someone was talking up the front, we used to do a lot of empowerment stuff and really put people out of their comfort zone, really push people to the point where they had no choice but to blah. But it was from the heart. And I remember standing there this one time, and I started to tear up. This guy was talking. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with me? Why am I crying? But this really started me to open up as an empath, but feeling when someone was really in their heart and expressing from their heart. And this started like probably my journey of really, really tuning into my intuition and then acting on that when I could feel when someone was like in their heart, or when I could feel when someone was like in their ego, just a common both sides of the coin if you want to look at it. I could then intuitively go, okay, this is how I can encourage this person or help this person shift through that, or really stop this pattern or whatever they're getting stuck in their track. And that's one big thing I got specifically in Bali. It's not something I got from Bali. I think I needed to be there. I needed to be around the support of the people I was with to be able to encourage that gift, if you will call it, to come up. But that's one thing. As far as techniques and stuff, a lot of release work was a big thing. Like I say, again, from witnessing and watching someone like my friend Joko. We used to go to an amazing set of waterfalls where one was for release, and wow, he would do his magic thing, and then the other one was opened up to the receive. Both waterfalls, very magical, very
sounds powerful,
very, very, very powerful. It was one where at the time I was like, yeah, whatever, the water changes color if you're releasing a lot of stuff. They literally, and some people scream and whatever's released there. Knowing what I know now about entities and demons and all this sort of stuff, I can now see what was actually going on there. It was a very cleansing place. And I just picked up on odds and ends from that. And it sort of matched in with a lot of other things that I was learning from other mentors. But Bali itself, I would say that the biggest thing I got from there was about being present with nature. There was lots of, amongst a lot of the chaos that you see when you first go there and all the markets and all that, there's pieces of jungle and places which are really, really, really spiritual and have you go back to a deeper sense of connection with nature, Mother Earth, and yourself. So that's what I would have got from that. There was one thing I will mention. I did pick up with some of the body work that I've done. This was later on. I think this was the last time I went to Bali. So what I'm talking about there learning was a few years ago. Recently, when we went back, I think it was about 18 months ago, 20 months ago, I think we got back from there. Yeah, time's not real, but sometime around then, I was actually, I hadn't been to the gym for a bit because my body was, after I'd been to Peru the first time, my body was releasing a lot of stuff. with the work the shamans did and the medicine, and I was really, really releasing a lot of densities in my body. So I hadn't trained in the gym. I was doing a lot of breath work at the time. And I'm like, I want to train in the gym. I don't know what drove me to do it. I want to start getting in the gym. And little did I know that the next week I trained a couple of times in the gym. I was super sore. My body didn't respond very well to the training. And I'm like, I'm going to go get a massage. Okay, cool. Now, I'd set the intention while I was over there that there was someone I was going to meet that was going to help me start to shift whatever was in my body, however it's up. I didn't think it'd be through someone giving me a massage. And it wasn't a happy ending for all you people out there. It wasn't that sort of massage. But I went to this place and I was looking through the booklet and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds normal. That one's written for the Westerners. We call ourselves Westerners when we go to these places. Like I said, and there was one there that was like, I'm like, this one seems really unique and different. And it was more expensive, still cheap in Bali, amazing over there. You get 5 massages for the price of one in Australia. It's just unbelievable. But this one was like pretty expensive. I'm like, oh, go ask them. I'm like, what's this one? And they're like, oh, no, we have to talk to this person. I'm like, I don't know. It's okay. I want that. What day? And this person, they had to get a special person in once a week. That's all he'll come in. He goes, oh, he'll come in on this time, this day. I'm like, oh, cool. I feel special. Okay, this must be really unique. I'll get this. And I had to suss out a couple of things. I was like a little bit nervous. Wonder what this is. And come in on the day, and then a lady just started massaging me. And I'm like, nothing really special about this. This is cool. I'm like, I was like getting curious, and I was a little bit over. It was a great massage. I'm like, nothing special about this. What is it? And then next minute, I hear this big clap of the hands.
Going in deep.
And then the lady's just going and goes, and whatever she said, she goes, just be at peace or something like that. I wanted me to relax. I'm like, I don't know, I can't relax. It was like, and it was a high priest of the area that had come in. I couldn't see him, but she sort of mentioned just lay there and just relax and just, I think she was trying to communicate to me to surrender. And what proceeded next was pretty full on. Like, the massage was getting me prepared for him to manipulate my body the way he did. I didn't talk to him at all. I told her what I was feeling, sore from training in the gym. And like, they ask a lot about emotion over there, which is amazing. I really feel like, because it's all emotion, stored traumas and everything like that in the body. It's emotion. Even when we train the body and get sore, where's that training come from? Where is that? Is that from a place of lack or sadness or not good enough? So I knew there was emotion in my body and stuck, and he intuitively bent my body in ways, shook my body in ways. He whiplashed my legs, my arms, my neck, and cracked it. I was, at one stage, it felt like, I don't know if this is real, it would have been amazing to get it recorded, but my legs felt like they were bent up here somewhere. And he's like, breathe in, and he cracked. I was spitting out my mouth. I was bawling my eyes out. It was...
That was intense.
Dude, but it was... I'm thinking about it now,
I've just got this vision of you in this...
I'm pretty flexible, but this was extreme.
No.
I've got tingles thinking about it now, because that in itself, I had to sit down after this. He thanked me. He goes, all he really said to me, I hope that helped your problem. Like, it was full on. He did whatever he had to do, and he knew, and I could feel it. And it was like, the pain was different too. It was like, you know, when you're in pain, and dude, you've experienced a lot of pain, and it's like, there was something different about this pain. It was, I don't know if it was because it felt like the pain was all moving from what he was doing, but some of the cracks, and like one where he had my leg and he's like, relax, or what, I think that's what he was saying. And he's just shaking my leg, shaking, and he was shaking it so hard. It was just all floppy like spaghetti. And I was laying there.
I wish you got some camera.
But here's the thing. I thought about that. Next time I'll get a camera, I'll go there. I probably wouldn't call in what I called in, because I truly believe this, came in. I called this in because my body needed it. But that was such a unique experience. I bawled my eyes out afterwards, but it was it wasn't,
a big release.
thank God it's over all that. It was just all this
emotions,
outburst of emotion and all this. And I was telling Chia had a giggle herself. I know she laughed at me a bit when I was telling her, and she's like, yeah, you needed it. You've been a bit of a dick lately, or whatever she said. So, but that experience, like things like that, and it really opened my eyes up. There are healers around the world that they have their way, they have their gift. They know this guy intuitively. I didn't fill out any forms. I didn't talk to him. He just knew where to go in my body and what to do. And that was massive for me. Like, that was a big thing. I really feel from my part of that journey. That's why I went to Bali that time, amongst all the other things. Like, we ran a couple of immersions there with people coming over to work with us, but it was to have that release and that shift. And I didn't need to put words to what it was. I didn't care. I just felt lighter. So if we're going to go to Bali, that's what you're in for.
I'm preparing myself now. Let me limbo up. Yeah. Sounds like an experience and a half. So there's been a lot of obviously other healing retreats and stuff you've been on. Where's the favorite place you've been to have healing and help yourself?
I think all of them have their wins. Like, Bali's been magical, but also Bali's been challenging because of lots of emotion coming up. Is that the specific vortex that's what it does. And that can become a bit extreme. Like, last time we were there, we're like, that's it. We're out of here. We're done. We've got what we need. We're out of here. We left a month early, but I really liked Peru, Sacred Valley, the last time. That was amazing. That was really special. But even when we went to Tarapoto and in the jungle away from Tarapoto the first time a few years ago, that was unique and magical too, because it was my first real time experience working with the shamans and the plant medicine. I don't know if I can put my finger on Costa Rica. I went to Costa Rica, which was now 18 months ago. That was magical in its own right. That was I got a funny story about that one I can share after if you like to. It's super relevant.
Yes, definitely. Let's share it for sure.
I'll share it.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, I think it could be funny.
I think I've shared it with you. Is it the one with nudity involved?
A little bit, yeah.
We'll put it this way. There was a little bit more than a little bit of nudity. Now, I want to give some context to this. The first time I went to Peru, first time, one of my big things and on my journey of healing, like, I've had some body stuff come up. I haven't been too happy with my body and whatever that's come from, and not a lot of work around it, but I still had this like, well, I don't really like a lot of tantra stuff they get into where they all get in a circle and do cock worship and all that. I don't like that. It's not my thing. I'm like, there's resistance there. Some people might say, I need some healing around. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that shit. And there's other elements, but in my mind, I'm like, well, there's something that needs to shift here. And the first time I went to Peru, didn't know half the people, knew some of them. My mentors were there, but first time I went there, one Pablo Barjarona strips down his shorts and just jumps in the water in the nude. I'm like, okay, that's all right for him. Next minute, I see my good friend Regan doing the same. I'm like, what? And I remember her telling me at the airport, she planted the seed. She goes, oh, there's a fair chance we're going to get nude and go for nude swims. And whether she was keying in on one of my things I was uncomfortable with, and yeah, I was, but we proceeded to get naked in the water, not hanging around each other. I'm like, this is fucking weird. I hope this doesn't keep going. But it helped me break through something. And that was a few years ago. And I'm like, I never have to do this shit again. I'm not going to put myself in a place. And then little did I know, go to Costa Rica 18 months later. And it helped a lot. Like, I'm super comfortable within my body now and all that. I'll even go for a swim out in the yard, things I wouldn't do. So it helped me with that. But went to Costa Rica, and it was a powerful wild leadership event. It was called A Powerful Experience. If people want a combination of amazing leaders and speakers, but also amazing food and healing and everything, that no plant medicines involved, still elevated states of consciousness, and that wild leadership was huge for that. But there was one day where we went down the beach and we were practicing a modality called quantum flow method, developed by Wampa, one of my mentors. And we're practicing that on the beach. It's working through the chakras in a different way, doing lots of breath work, lots of body work, lots of different things, working with the organs. It's very, very powerful. And we were proceeding to do it on the beach, and everyone was into it, in with nature. The with connecting to Mother Earth and everything. And next minute I see my mentor, Wampa. He's sneaky. He's a big kid. He had this bucket of clay. I'm like, doesn't look like the sand. Then another bucket got brought down and another bucket. I'm like, what's going on here? And he started mixing water with it. I'm like, what's going on here? He goes, oh, you can mix in that one. All right, mixing the clay. Oh, what's going on here? He's going, we're going to put it on our body. And I'm like, okay. And I wasn't ready for this. Everyone was like, we've been doing like this quantum flow, and we were like amped. Like, it lights you up. It really does. It has you in such a high vibration. The method, we were doing it for hours. That now we're doing this, and he's like, yeah, connect with the earth. This is special clay from the local. This is the shamans. This clay has been used for a long time in special ceremony and everything. Like, oh, that's cool. We're going to put it on our body, and we proceeded to mix it, and everyone started coming over, and then the girls started rubbing it on themselves, and Wampa's putting over him now. Then he stripped off, and I'm like, oh, fuck off. Just started taking their clothes off, and I'm like,
brilliant.
Oh, really?
I cannot
and I'm like, my head got so much of this life. We're caught up in our head. My head, didn't matter what I'd been doing and how much work I'd done, my head just started to come up with story and this, and you don't have to do this, you're not involved in this, and oh, what are people going to think? It was like this explosion of all this stuff I had. And there was one big dude there. He's Trevone. He just won one of the major bodybuilding contests in the US. He's there standing next to me. He's ripped as all stuff. I'm happy with myself, and I'm like there, and I'm like,
oh no,
fuck it. If I'm going to get involved in this, I'm like, come here, dude. I got my hands, and I just put them on his big chest, big handprints, and I'm like, that was uncomfortable. All right, I could do that to a dude, and we proceeded to get fully naked on the beach. Everyone was rubbing mud on each other. It was uncomfortable. It was, but we ended up going into, this is the powerful thing, we ended up going into burying each other in the sand. So we actually went into a shamanic thing where we buried up to there. And like I had a woman, amazing woman, burying me, and I just had my nostrils. We had no straws, which was there, and we were right near the water. It was with everything coming up and all that, and we shifted a lot of a lot of people were uncomfortable. Some people didn't do it. There's 43 people, 35 women, and 7 blokes, so we're outnumbered. So any fear of judgments of me, it was like that was coming up. But the burying in the sand, that was something really, really special. It was, you could feel like you felt supported. I had fears coming up, like, holy shit, I can't see shit. Whatever trust was there, you had to trust. I was the last one buried. We swapped it in turns. I could see what was going to happen. But for a time there, it was so peaceful, but I felt the energy of Mother Earth, the pulsation, everything that was shifting. And it was like she was holding and cradling me just in this cocoon. You could hear the waves outside, just like, you're all right, incredible. Coming back to the earth. It was extreme. It went further. I was there for about 40 minutes, and I'm like, something's not right here.
I forgot you.
I could feel the waves coming up around and coming into the sand.
Oh.
Am I meant to be here? And here's one of my things. I'm like, I don't want to end this. I'm going as
I'm going longer. I'm going. No.
And like, if I'm going to get naked and do shit that I didn't want to do on the beach, I'm going to be the one that stays in here the longest. And then the waves are coming in, and I couldn't hear anyone.
Oh no! Like, hold on, panic stations.
And heaps of fear come up, dude. And it was so many layers to this whole thing we did on the beach. It was like over and over. This was amongst 9 days of intentional healing. I don't know if this part was intentional, but it was messing with me.
Wow.
And I ended up breaking out of it and looking around. There was no one there.
No one there.
I was like, the fuck? Like, that's what
everyone left you.
But because there was a mound on the beach, but everyone was going because it was starting to rain and all that. And
the water coming in as well.
Yeah, I don't know if it was intentional or I have no idea. But it was an experience. It was, if you want to put it in the thing, it was very, very confronting. It was probably the most vulnerable I've been without like being up in front and like expressing in a big audience or doing something really, really new in front of a lot of people. This was so different. And you can probably feel from like, I'm just
I can feel it. I can feel the energy of it. The thought of being buried under the sand and the sea coming in and no one there. Like, your mind must have just been going, what is going on? That's scary.
It was, but it was another key thing on like this whole journey of connecting more with the earth. I actually felt I felt like I was a part of the earth when I was buried, in amongst the fears, in amongst the, oh my God, I just did this. Like, I had shit coming up in my mind. Chi and I just had a little baby not long before. They were in Australia. Like, they were here by themselves. And here I am on the other side of the planet. And here I'm like, oh my God, I was with 35 women naked on the beach. I was rubbing mud on. Like, what's she going to think? But it brought up so much for me. That was amazing. I remember the following day, we had our little sit down, and a lot of people, like I say, didn't do it. People did it in their shorts, and people were walked off going, nah, this is not helpful and all that. And that's their own journey. There's no judgment. I know when they were listening to some of us, what we got out of it the next day, I had to share because I was one of the support people there in that. I was one of their coaches at the time, even though this was for me, this event. And I'm like, I've got to share this because I know this is going to inspire a few others to speak up, because they were sort of looking up to some of us people there. And I shared it, and I looked at one part of my thing, and I'm like, you bastard, you triggered the shit out of me yesterday. And he was like, yes, I got the wild man from Australia. it was really, because I catch snakes and all that sort of shit. And here I am, I'm like, he's like,
you are scared of them, scared of the sand.
Scared of a bit of sand and a bit of nudity, a bit of mud, but these are the things in life. I really believe that it's these things that catch us off guard, that have us vulnerable in the moment, even at a retreat or an event. We're like, oh, we know we're in for something, but this really caught me off guard and really shifted me a lot. It really grounded me. It made me have some really open conversations with Chi.
I bet. How did she take that?
Well, that night I video called her straight away. I was like, guess what I did today? I was shaking. Don't worry. I was like, I don't know how she's going to take this. I don't know how she's going to take this. But I was like, I've got to do this. I've got to tell her.
Got to tell her. Of course, got to be honest, right?
If I had held on to it, it probably would have been worse.
So good. So funny.
But I don't know. That in itself, that was, massive. But back to your question, like, they've all got their own magic, all these places, and sometimes it's not even what you do. It's like how you be in that and what you learn about yourself and the experience you get. I always feel you're going to meet people. You're going to see the place how you see it. I know going back to several places over and over, it's like a new place every time. Like I mentioned, Bali, I've been there many times, and every time I go there, it's just new. It's different. And I really believe that with all the places I've gone. But yeah, going by I'm glad I've shared these couple of stories. They're very, very significant.
Yeah, it's
in
good.
my journey.
Yeah, I hope people get something from that as well. It's about sometimes, when you're put into vulnerable situations, how you deal with it. It's how you react, and things come up in our life that, as you say, could just instantly, all of a sudden, oh, I'm vulnerable. I'm in this situation. How do we react to that? How do we deal with that? And even though it's a really funny story, but there's something profound in there to see how you dealt with it, and your mindset, and your feelings and your emotions to that situation. So I hope people get the meaning of that. So I've certainly.
It's so many times, and you would know, Joby, in life, like I say, the things that just come up out of nowhere. Like, you've been through some really challenging times that you weren't planning for them, and
no,
they come up, and you are left.
Not.
Yeah, but you're left like you're literally, and so many of us. I'd say everyone gets something in life that has them go, what the hell what do I do? I don't know. And it's I like saying how you respond versus how you react, because I believe you react from your subconscious or your patterns or your programs versus how you respond. It's like then you can navigate through it. You can be present in the moment. Shit still comes up, and if we get emotional, that's meant to happen. And everything's here to teach us, no matter how dramatic or how hard or how challenging. And like you say, how you respond, and you can say how you bounce back, or how you are. It's how you be in that. It's how you be. And yeah, I think it's so important. Like I say, I can tell a million funny stories. There's actually a way that I do coach and do a lot of my courses, and I encourage everyone listening or watching just to tune in and maybe listen or watch with different eyes and actually look for the bits and pieces that are in there. So much learning that come through.
Absolutely. And do you know what as well, even yourself putting laughter into things as well is such a good healer. It really is. It lifts your mood, lifts your vibration. I mean, it's a fantastic healer. So I got a lot from that story. That was really good. But tell us a little bit more about working with the shamans. How did that come around? What did you get from it? Because I know a lot of people who will be watching this now, who I'm connected with as well, are on a little bit of a shamanic path as well, and might enlighten people to start their journey with this sort of work as well.
Yeah, cool. Well, first to give a bit of my belief of a shaman, maybe what a shaman is. I believe there's shamans, healers in all cultures, all societies. And it feels like I've known that for a long time. It's like a remembering. Even myself and yourself, like I believe we're shamans. We're our own shaman, our own healer. And when I used to look at things like that, I used to look at like South America and all that before I went over there, and they talked of shamans a lot. Other places would talk of like witch doctors or all this. All tribes have them. There's a certain person in there who is the magic woman or the magic man or the magic elder. But my first experience with them, like where I actually went to physically, was in Peru. Bali, you could say that, but I hadn't formed a belief that they were shamans. It was just
it makes
high
sense.
priest and that.
Yes.
Now, but went to Peru and there was these lovely little grandmothers. Like, I'm short. I'm 5'7". I can proudly admit that now. I've done the healing work around being short and have
nothing wrong with being short. I'm 5'6" and 3/4.
There you go. We've got it sorted. Well, I'm taller than you.
The 3/4 matters to me, I tell you.
We measure it in centimeters here, so I'm not 171, I'm 172.
Right, okay.
But I went over there and there's these lovely little grandmothers. Now, I did have this formed idea, shamans like this, like witch doctor. That was at the time. I'd read a couple of books and that, but these lovely, sweet little grandmothers, and they were probably hundreds of years old. I don't know. They were from the Amazon, but they used to travel to do certain retreats, and they were from a special tribe that's here to bring the plants that are ayahuasca, that combine for ayahuasca, to humanity in a certain way. They were like the gatekeepers of it, if you will.
Wow.
Yeah. So the knowledge keepers, or however it was, to keep the wisdom there, even though it has been distorted and polluted a lot by certain shamans, but that's their role, and they pass it on to their daughters and all that. And seeing these grandmothers, I was nervous anyway. I was like over there, I'm like, what have I got myself into here? Oh my goodness. It was very, very remote and it was like I was camping. We were in huts and there was lots of mosquitoes and bugs and all that, but it was a magical space where we held the ceremonies, and just being immersed in that first time and feeling their heart and feeling their power, and me being very visual, like with medicine and away from medicine. I really know that now. I could literally see what sort of, without understanding, that they were very active and very present in like helping me with whatever it was. Like I wasn't aware of it at the time. And there was another shaman there. I think she was the niece of one of the others, but she did all the music and all the chanting and was like the ceremony master. She's amazing, amazing. I'm still in contact with her, and the way they combine to serve both in physical 3D presence, like as humans, and they were cheeky, and there were all these things that I didn't think, and just magical from the heart, and how they spoke about ayahuasca and how it was that the plants were all love. Everything that comes through that's all love, no matter what darkness or anything comes up, no matter what, it's all love. And they have a joke about it. So many people think, oh, it's these dark experiences, and they blame ayahuasca, and it's like, she just loves you so, so much. All you have to do is receive the love. And that was really profound, and it really gave me a respect for them. And they didn't have to say much. That's what I loved about it. Like,
they don't say it, they show you. Yeah.
Exactly. It's magical. And that first time over there,
I've got goosebumps thinking about it. What you just said about the plant, how it loves you, and I've literally just got goosebumps.
Yeah, and shit, I've had some traumatic experiences on ayahuasca, man. Yeah. I've had some stuff come up where it's like, how can you love me? I've had the flower of the plant. I've felt like the plant, and the flower just, whoa. And it's this deep sense of, and with them and how they're able to work. And I think it's their presence. And that's the specific shaman over there. Like I say, I really believe that like all cultures have got their own. And I really feel that us now with our healing journeys, we've been shown our inner shaman to be able to help others. But in Peru, these amazing grandmas and the people around them that help, I've also made friends with another couple of shamans, a couple of guys, which is awesome. One from Chile, Andreas, he travels the world serving others. Amazing shaman Chance. We did a sweat box in the last event in Peru where he ran that. That was, whoa.
Right,
not
intense.
on plant medicine.
No,
that
definitely
was its
not.
own medicine.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I think for anyone listening out there, I really feel if you be present, if you're intrigued, because it is becoming more accepted or well known, and people are looking for ways. They're catching on that healing is the way for humanity, that's how we raise the consciousness. And for people out there who like, oh, I want to go do ayahuasca, or I want to, and you know I'm big on this. I don't want people to just go do.
No, it's not a thing. This is a sacred plant that's been used for thousands of years, and it has to be treated right. If you don't, it will destroy you.
It's like anything. And I don't know if I mentioned this last time. They were telling us that the most recent one. I didn't know this. Firstly, I didn't know there was 2 plants in ayahuasca. The name of the other one has slipped me, but that's actually the main one. It's 2 plants, but they were brought here by beings and planted here for this time now for humanity. That's what the shamans were telling us this last time.
Wow, okay.
But they've had to come to learn that over a couple of thousand years, because they've been using it in their tribes. Yeah. They've been using it like as toothpaste. Like
it feels like, as you've just said, it's being planted here for this time. It feels like it's now coming into fruition. It's now blooming, and it's now we're now coming to a new stage of where the raising of the vibration and the consciousness is lifting up, and people are now becoming, we're going to have so many people wakening this year and coming into their power, and we're really going to change. The earth's going to change. The earth is purging at the moment.
It is purging. It's
massively purging. All what's going on over in Australia, which we'll touch on in a bit, which I'd love to get your view on as well. But it just feels like everything is just happening in perfect timing. And this is the shamans are now coming to light with sharing this to the Western world a little bit, with people going over there having retreats, and it's really just the knowledge is starting to flow a little bit more now. So
it was, and on that too, they shared this time, the first time they're the keepers of it. It's sacred to them. It's the medicine of the plant. But on their own journey, and this was so powerful, on their own journey, they've come to say that they didn't want to share it with the Western world. They didn't want to travel. They're like, no, it's got to stay here in Peru,
which makes sense.
But they've been shown over the last couple of years that they've had to go out now, and they've got to share it.
Okay.
Even though they're getting, a lot of the grandmas and the shamans are getting a lot older, and they're like, well, their own growth journey, like, okay, if that's what it's for. So they've just come in the last few years, they told us that they're now out starting to travel around. And that was profound for me to hear that from these people who have been sacred to their area and to where it was put in and all that. They've been shown something. They're in, like I say, they look like they're hundreds of years old. They don't, their energy's not. Their energy's like my son, River, like a little 15 or 16-month-year-old. Like,
brings it. For me, it literally brought out this big kid in me. I was literally like I just couldn't stop laughing. One of the best experiences of my whole life. And since that time, I've just literally, I've just become this big. Even it didn't take a lot to me to be a big kid anyway, but
True.
Honestly,
you
it
laugh
doesn't.
at my joke, so that.
I'm glad someone does. But yeah, it just brought this real fun, joy, and just such a good spirit out of me. Like, you know, over the last few years, everything's been about business, and not taking myself too seriously. And it's just totally life changing. And I totally respect what it does as well. So it's
Totally.
it's an amazing.
I think that's the key with it. You can talk about it, and I go back to anyone listening out there who wants to get into it or who has experienced it a little bit and still sort of working out like what's it all about. You got to have that respect for the people who are bringing this wisdom or helping us activate our own wisdom coming through. It is about the inner child being healed. It is about bringing that out. It is about more joy, more abundance, more bliss. But it's also serious in a sense that, hey, we've got a role, we've got a purpose, we've got a mission. If you are called to go work in this space, and that's your purpose calling. This is actually something that humanity needs us to be serious about right now and act on it. There is more joy, abundance, bliss, fun, and that gets to be had along the way in a higher frequency. But really commit to something and have a respect for if you're going and working with plant medicines or working with shamans or anything like that, because it is up to us right now. Like where our role on this planet right now is to help humanity, because there is a big purge going on, because the planet went to 5D, I think, in 2012. We're catching up as humans. Some of us aren't going to catch up. Some of us don't like it. Some of us are going into our stuff more. Some of us are resisting it. But the ones that are called to their purpose, no matter what path we take, whoever's teaching us, guiding us, leading us to do that, we've got to have a massive respect for them, because they've actually weathered a lot of the shit. The last generations, the wars, everything up until now. And it's up to us to be respectful of that, but to also honor it. Like we say, our tagline, honor your calling.
Yeah, I love that. It's really good. It's very good. So tell us a little bit more about, have you got any good stories from the jungle working with the shamans? What did you get from them that you could like share with people to help heal them on the journey with the work you do with intuitive breakthroughs?
What I could do, just tuning in. One thing that's come on for me, and this might be a really good gift for your guys and something very, very unique and different. I channel a lot of light language or coded medicine or that. And that's something that got, you could say, activated when I was first in Peru, when I first was conscious to it. And it's like a medicine of sound and frequency that can change the geometry, say, in a person's body or a person's field. Now, how do I break this down? That's something I can share a little gift for the guys who are on this. I can actually channel a transmission. I definitely have to do a little bit of an intention in there.
Yeah, perfect.
That's something
perfect.
Without saying something that's being passed on to me, because I believe the biggest thing that's been passed on me from all the shamans and everything is, and it's around the world, in Bali, healers and everything, it's always about being in your heart. It's always about anything is in your heart, like connect with that, what's right here and right now, and everything comes from that, because the ones in Peru, they deal with a lot of people going over there with events, and all of them, they say they all come here caught in the head, caught up here, this and that, the money, my girlfriend, my husband. How they explain it, so funny. They explain the chaos of our life, and they're like, this is about coming back to here. Yeah, it's coming back to here, and it mightn't sound like really profound or exciting for people out there listening just now, but when you feel it and you're in that presence or in that space, and like you say, you would know doing the shamanic work, you can feel if there's a shaman in the space, you can feel them working like that. It's all back in here.
Without a doubt. Love that.
Yeah, I will, at the end of this, what I'll do, I'll channel through something specific. I've requested now what it is, and might be something very, very unique and new. Have you been on one of my healings before, or I've channeled something?
I've done it. Well, obviously, we've done a few lives and stuff where you've done something, but it'd be interesting to see what comes up for sure.
Cool.
Sure.
I'll set an intention for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Got to have an intention. But
Yeah,
that's something
definitely.
that's come online for me since working with the medicines and the shamans, and that is being able to channel through this. Like I say, it's a coded medicine. It's like light language is commonly referred of, sound and frequency that can be healing for whatever the intent, for the other person, for the people, can be a blessing or anything like that. So something unique. Why not?
Yeah, perfect. Let's do that at the end. So, guys, if you're watching this, stay with us till the end, and you get to see this amazing thing. So, something you touched on a minute ago, which is something I really want to delve into, is coding.
Yep, cool.
I think this could be really good for people to understand how they can sort of delve into the healing process and just get something from this as well. Because I think coding might be, and I know you're an expert in this field. So tell us a little bit about the coding and what it is and how it can help people.
Well, if people are new to this and they hear the language out there, there's a lot of language when we're talking about humans, like we're human behavior, or when we're shifting, or we're doing the work, we're doing the inner work, or we're healing and certain things. And we talk about programs and programming and conditioning and all this. I like putting it in when we're talking about certain coding, and we've got certain codes. I remember doing a live on this not long ago where I really dived into this. I actually think that's when I just got back from Peru. So I literally got shown so much of this.
Downloads.
It was, and it got shown to me. But I like to look at this as if we as humans, we are programmed a certain way. However that programming is, whether it's come through our DNA, be it our 2 strands they tell us we've got and the rest are junk. No, we have 12, and there's probably more, but we have 12. But there's certain coding in them that we already have in our makeup. But we also get conditioned and programmed with certain coding. Like an example of certain coding could be, let's get one that plays out in society now. I have to work really, really hard to get money so I can provide. That's a code. That's a code that's implanted in certain people. It's a belief system. You can look at it as belief systems, but we can get to shift this coding. We can rewire this coding. Other ones that are coding that's, say, passed down, hereditary, anything like that, is a scarcity. A scarcity, like you go back, especially all around the world, slavery, slave codes. We have coding in us like that. I like to look at it as if we're a computer. We've got an old computer. The first MacBook that came out, I think it was a big square thing, had certain coding at the time for society at that time. That MacBook was brand new. The coding in that was awesome. It was amazing. It served that purpose. But some of it was never going to work 10 years from now. As society grew and evolved, as a person then, you'd go to put in whatever you did back then when they had the MacBook. A CD. They weren't around then. You go to put a CD in, like, where do I put this? You can't accept the new coding. You go on over time, like you got a computer these days, like they're so fast, they're upgrading so fast. There's certain things you go to put in and upload a program. Sometimes it can take a lot of time because there's old coding in the computer, the way it's coded, that it can't take it. Humans are no different as we grow and evolve. If we have certain coding, say a slave code, which one of the elements could be scarcity mindset, grown up where there wasn't much in the house, where the father was always away or working all the time and had to work hard for money, bring it home, and things weren't working. That coding is in us. But when we're growing and evolving in life and we want more, we're understanding that we create our reality, this coding's got to go. We might hang around the 5 most successful people we know. There's a saying, like, if you're hanging around 5 people, you are the sum of 5 people. But if you've got coding that's there, that's slave coding, you can hang around 5 people all you want, and you wonder why you're not getting rich. Because there's coding that's got to go through the work, through release work, through shifting your belief systems, through healing too. Family healing is a big one when it comes to coding. So to upload new coding, which you do around people all the time, some of the old coding's got to go. This is 3D talk about it. I know you sent me some stuff recently which dives deeper into it, which is really, really cool.
Did you ever listen to it?
I haven't had a chance to listen to all of it, man. I started listening. I'm like, mate, I've got to be present for this. But explaining it this way, I really feel it helps people get curious about it, because you can go into, there's a lot of stuff that goes when we're talking about DNA and all these sorts of things, that loses me now still. It loses me. And I always come back to, all right, what's the simplest way that I can understand this? And understanding it like a computer, like an iPhone. I don't know if you've got an iPhone. I just got iPhone 10 about 2 months ago or whatever. There's bloody iPhone 11 Pro out 2 months later. Like, they're constantly
upgrading,
growing and evolving. Humans are the same. If the iPhone can come out that quick, how fast, rapidly are we going? But if we've got coding that's blocking new coding, like, you can go to a seminar to learn something, but if you haven't got the space, or you've got old coding and it doesn't integrate with the new coding, you're not going to upload the new coding. There's going to be resistance there if you're not willing to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's the simplest way, that I can explain that. It is, one of my mentors breaks it down. I think she's broken it down into, oh my God, so many codes and different like that. And it's some of it resonates. Like I mentioned one, slave coding. People look at it in Australia, it's massive. Like, we're a colony of convicts, apparently. I think all the rich people from UK went to New Zealand. I don't know, but there's coding that comes with that, with that that's in our genes, that doesn't serve us how we are in the world, or how we want to be in the world, or how we want to show up in the world right now. And a lot of that's coming. You talk about the purge of Mother Earth right now. This purge is coming out of us now. This purge is coming out of our bodies. The coding is a way to break it down, to look at it in a 3D way, you could say. It's a way to look at it in a way where you can go, okay, this is coming up. I'm feeling like I'm not enough because I can't provide for my family. I'm like, well, who made the rule? What's that coding that says you have to provide that way, or says you have to do that, or you have to work away, or you have to work? There's the evidence of the coding. Okay, I get to work on shifting that now. I get to say, okay, that doesn't serve me. How do I want to show up as a provider, or do I want to show up that way as a father? I spoke about this today with Chi on the live feed. Like, who sets the rules for this? It's our coding. That's what it is. It's like, and our parents just confirm the coding, or the big people in our life, schools, confirm the coding that's not really going to serve us and humanity going forward. That's a quick summary of that, dude.
Yeah.
Throw me some questions around this, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So how can people delve into this if they've got certain patterns, certain programming, certain coding? How can they break this? What would they need to do to really get through to the next level?
They can contact me. No.
Yeah, of course they can. Of course, that's why we're doing this.
The first thing is really, and you really need an awareness. I break this down into really, really simple stuff. You need an awareness that something's not how you want it to be, or you're not happy with something. Something doesn't feel right. You might be down certain areas in your life. You might have a shit relationship. You might be keeping yourself in a job you don't like, or things might keep showing up that you don't want. Challenges, like, you've got an awareness that that's not what you want. It's not how you want it to be. Okay, there's something there. There's some coding, or there's some limiting beliefs, or there's some trauma, or there's something there that's blocking you, or it's keeping you in that behavior pattern. It's like, okay, okay, I'm in a relationship that doesn't feel good. I don't like it. It's an abusive relationship, maybe. Very, very common. People do this. Human needs are at play, but there's certain things like, okay, I'm aware of that. All right, cool. Well, if I want a relationship that's really what I want, like meaningful, loving, connected, open, all that, okay, well, that's got to go. Oh, wow, that brings up, oh, where did that come from? Why have I attracted in that relationship? Like, well, you can look at your family, like, how was my mom and my dad or my grandma, and all that. You can look at that. But for simple out there, guys, get an awareness of what you don't like. We can focus on it. Everyone knows what they don't want in their life. It's really easy for people because that's where most of our focus is, what's not right. Society conditioned us to focus on what's not working, what's not right. Then they implant their solutions in front of us, like on buses, on signs, on TV. But you have your own awareness. Okay, I'm not happy with that. Cool. Something's got to give there. I've got to do healing around it. I've got to do there. But you've got to get an understanding. Why don't you like it? Why isn't it serving? You can put this in steps if you want. Awareness is the first step. Get an understanding of it. Why? What's going on here? What is the pattern? A pattern, something that keeps happening over and over again that you don't like, that doesn't give you the result you want. Some of them serve us up to a certain point, but if you're not happy now and you look around, you got awareness, that's not what I want. That's no good. I'm not making money in this job, or I'm not making money in life. Common one for people. Money's energy, but just look at it. Okay, something's got to shift. If you want to make more money, you want something different, you've got to do something different. You've got to, more importantly, be someone different. Because that version of yourself, that's what you're tolerating.
Yeah, makes sense.
The next step in this little, you can call it a strategy or an inner mind strategy, is disassociation. So you've got to get an understanding, the awareness there, understand how is it limiting, maybe where this has come from, or how can you be differently, or if I did something different, I understand that this is going to shift it. Disassociation is you literally got to move away from that. You've got to be or do something different. An example of this. Okay, cool. I'm overweight. Okay, I've got an awareness I'm overweight. I'm not happy with myself. Well, okay, how have I got to this? The understanding is, well, I do eat a bit of shit. I do sit around a fair bit. When the opportunity comes, my friend buzzes me or texts me to go to the gym. I'm like, oh, I don't feel like it. I'm a bit lazy. I've got an understanding of maybe why I'm overweight. Cool. The disassociation comes from, okay, cool. I get to catch that pattern when it comes up. Oh, I got a text from my friend. You want to come for a walk? Oh, first thing that comes up is my behavior. Unconscious. I'm unconscious to it, but I'm going to catch this and be conscious to, oh, no, there's a good TV show on. You catch that. No, disassociate. I'm going to move away from that. This is one step where I break that pattern. Okay, I'm going to go for a walk. Some people mightn't understand the significance of breaking the pattern at the first time, but it is huge for people. It's massive.
Absolutely.
You do it once, yeah, and it'll probably bring up more stuff. And most people will just go back into their behaviors and let their behaviors rule their day, and let it go unconsciously. But if you can catch that, the person who wants to lose weight, they've had the awareness, not happy, Okay, I've got an understanding. These are certain times and things and food. Cool. Catch it, that person, go for a walk, come back, probably stuffed, but their mind's going into a bit of like, that was not normal. That's a different. Their soul.
I'm uncomfortable.
But their soul, which is what's guiding them, deep down might start to make a bit of a like, yes, about time. Like that. Their body mightn't feel like it at the start, but there's something in their body that's like, thank you, because it's self-love at play. You're shifting it. The next most important part about, we'll call it a 4-step strategy, is the reprogramming or the reconditioning, or what I like to take it to another level is the embodiment of a new pattern. But that comes with consistently catching this pattern, consistently tuning in. All right, cool. I've been for a walk 5 days this week. I'm feeling a bit better. I'm a bit tired, a bit sore. Oh, wow. My mum brought around that big cake and it's in the fridge. Oh, yeah, that's great. Oh, wait, there's an opportunity. Do I really want to eat the whole cake, or I just want a little bit to be grateful for my mum? It doesn't mean going cold turkey. Anyone listening out there, when it comes to weight, it's like, no, I can have a little bit, enjoy the taste, enjoy my mum making me the cake, but I'm not going to eat the whole freaking thing like I normally would. And you do these little things over time to recondition the new pattern, the new program that's serving. Over time, you start to behave a bit differently. You smash that pattern, you start to form new serving habits. That's, for anyone out there, it's a simple thing I got taught so early in my journey. I can break it down backwards, fronts. I can break it down into programming, thoughts, feelings, actions, results, and reverse it, and all these things that I have fun with. But guys, it can be as simple as have an awareness. Awareness is conditioned into us in society, but they don't give us the next step. They don't give us the next one. They don't. They just want you to have awareness.
Love that. Very, very powerful.
Might just have to pause me for a sec there, mate. I've just got something coming up on my screen. Okay. I really feel that a lot of people get caught up on their healing journey of a fix. I've got a fix. I've caught the pattern once. I've seen it for what it is. I've had an awareness and it shifted. But sometimes there's other elements of that can play out, and you mightn't be able to say, well, that's the same pattern or the same a limiting belief system or anything like that. So you've got to reprogram it. You've got to continue to catch it over and over and continue to implement things that are serving for what you want or how you want to be. Over time, consistent daily action, you could call it, over time that's going to have you embody it, which means it's your new way of being. And then that becomes your behavior. It's super, super powerful. Like I say, that's a good foundation piece for a lot of stuff that I do when I'm doing mindset with people.
Does that work with like, obviously like relationships? Is it the same sort of system for different
You can look
things,
at
or is
anything, man.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah. You can look at it. It's like, well, what's another example?
So the
It comes up
same
a lot.
the same
Yeah.
step process for
Yep.
everything. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, totally. Like I say, you can look at, like, just basically look at your life. Like, okay, you can even set a goal of like, oh, I want this in 12 months, or what's limiting me from coming back there. You've got to have an awareness of the things that have been stopping you, or why haven't you got that goal? Here's how you're going to get it. But certain things, certain coding, belief systems have got to go too. It's not just about the action steps, even though that's a really big, important piece of it.
Yeah, lovely. Very good. Hope you guys got some value from that little bit as well. It's really, really important for yourself, and especially for the healers out there as well. You might be able to take that into your work and implement that as well. But let's talk about something that's just come up for me is while we're sitting here. Let's talk about the heart. We briefly touched on it a minute ago, and why it's important for people to really open up their hearts and feel obviously gratitude. I know you're really good at explaining this sort of stuff, and the question I sort of had is like, what's the importance of when we're doing our inner work, our self-work, our self-care? What's the importance of the heart? Maybe we can just touch on this just a little bit more, because it's just something that come up.
Yeah, totally. It's super important. It's so interesting that we're talking about this now. I actually, in one of our masterminds, don't even like calling it mastermind because we're more than that, heart. But the other night we actually did some heart activations and work around coming back to the heart. And we spoke a lot about like being here now and leading from the heart and what that means. And the heart in itself, science is now catching up, or whatever, with the with the healing realm, or whatever you want to call it, the esoteric realm, or what we've known for thousands of years, is the heart is at least 5,000 times more powerful than the brain. Our society and the way we've done things has been so very mindset. It's important. It's one key, but if the heart is 5,000 times more powerful, why aren't we working with that more? Why aren't we focusing on that more? And it'll prove, and science will catch up even more, and it'll go from what our intuition, our soul already knows, that our heart is so, so powerful. And when it comes to working from the heart, it's like our natural way of bringing ourselves to a connection again with us. And it's not, you can go deeper if we're like, not us meaning I, the ego, meaning our soul, meaning the aspect of our soul, or whatever that's here experiencing this right now. It's like the gateway to that. And I truly believe we have a soul contract on this planet. And the more we can come back and tune into what that is and tick off them boxes of all the things that we've got to get done on that soul contract, it's through the gateway of the heart. It's being vulnerable, it's being open to have whatever comes into that. And if we really, really, really connect to the power of that, like, other things, they become insignificant. A big thing, we link it in again to what's happening with the earth right now, Mother Earth. I believe it's teaching a lot of people to come from into their heart. Look at some of the human things people are doing, the superhuman things, the compassion, the outpouring of compassion of people. I believe this is all part of the grand plan. Some people have had a go at me for saying it, like, oh, that's a bit hard. People have died. Yes, I have compassion for all of that. I do. Yeah. The animals that are shifted over, and we can get to the fire soon, but this is all part of us coming back to the heart.
Yeah.
It is so there. Like, humans, we're amazing, amazing beings. We are. Even if there's people out there doing shit right now, they're probably coming from good intentions for what they've got going on, maybe to serve their family or provide or whatever. Some of people out there might, you go into the stuff that's going on with deep state or whatever you want to call it out there, there's people out there that might be looking as bad players or whatever, but they've probably got a heart of gold. They've just got themselves into something that they've got to get out of. The only way they can do it is to do bad shit that's seen that way from others. But they're doing something for someone with good intentions. there's so many different things breaking down when it comes back to humanity coming back to the heart right now. There's so much messiness, confusion, but I look at it. I use the example of the fires as a reflection now. So much loss, so much grief.
Yes, yeah.
But I was talking to a mate the other day. He blew my mind. I never would have thought it. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I haven't called you back. I've been delivering water to the bushfires." He lives in the suburbs of Melbourne where there's no trees.
Right.
And I'm like, "Where are you going, dude?" But he just had this overpouring of emotion. He's like, I just felt called to go get me work trailer and go and drive and go give this. That's showing what's going on from.
Yeah. It's bringing, I know it's such a tragedy what's happened, but it is bringing a lot of people together. There's people are working together. It's terrible what's happened. What's your actual view on it? Obviously, the media, okay. The media here is really like the whole of Australia is on fire. But obviously, speaking to you briefly, I know you can probably put this to bed a little bit, but obviously there's only certain parts of it happening, and obviously it's a tragedy, and I don't take anything away from that. But the media are really portraying it as a lot more than what it seems to be. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, the media, I'll do my best not to go on a tangent about the media, but it is tragic, and it has covered a lot of ground. Australia's a big place, and there's certain areas that have burnt in certain directions. To get it clear to your people listening out there, I believe a lot of it has been on purpose, just so I can give some context for where I'm giving my opinion.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys believe and all that sort of stuff, there's a lot of spraying that goes on in the sky over here. Like, you can call them chemtrails, but there's a lot more than that. There's a lot of controlled stuff that's been going on for a few years about that. The weather's been really weird over here, all these things. And the fires have been huge. Like, they've been massive. They've taken out a lot of areas.
I mean, how many animals? 500 million animals or something?
They say 1 billion now.
Sad.
I've even got...
Really? Wow, so sad. So sad.
Yeah. I'm feeling, if you want to talk about the media, because I know there's a lot of international people that are listening to this, they portray it the way they want people to think, which then leads into their narrative, so they can either donate to a certain charity, which is going somewhere else, and all these things. They want you to believe it a certain way. They want you to feel the loss, and they want people in victimhood. They want all that. There are people who have been massively affected, like hundreds of thousands of people.
It's devastating.
It is. But media and stuff like that, the whole of Australia, I saw a map the other day, a friend of mine who exposes a lot of the stuff that he believes too. It showed a map of all the fires in Australia. There was a fire up here, and there's no fires up anywhere here. And this was something that was shared on the news. And then it's like, there's fires in these places where I've been. I'm like, that's desert. Why are they putting this stuff on the news? There's an element of that to it, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Where, there's big parts of Australia on fire, but there's also parts that are not even conscious of it.
Parts that are not burning, but they're saying that are burning. Right, okay.
The map I seen was a media thing, and I'm like,
okay. That's interesting.
All I can say to people listening out there is, yes, there's been loss of life. It's tragic, but I really want people to come back to a higher perspective on things like this. There's fires happening around the world. There's fires happening in many different countries for many different reasons. Some of them are being lit to be found out by activists and all this. There's all these different elements that I really encourage people to tune into what they believe, not get something from just because they've read the newspaper or seen the news. Sometimes you've got people who are connected in a place like this here. Even I'm a bit disconnected up here in the north of Australia. Queensland's had fires, but it's a big place. Like it's 20 hours drive from here to the capital city of Queensland. 20 hours.
Wow.
So I could do a couple of laps of the UK in that time. But
I could fly to Australia in that time.
That's the thing. In context for people over there, like I say, it's tragic, a lot of loss. But also I shared this the other day, and a couple of people sent me private messages. I'm like, what happens to a lot of trees, most trees and vegetation when it gets burnt? What happens afterwards? It regrows. It grows back stronger, more hardy, more resilient. And I'm like, what if we actually looked at something like this and took a perspective that Mother Earth's got this, no matter what human influence is happening, Take a higher perspective that people are coming from compassion and into their heart and doing things that they never would have done, acting how they never would have acted to help others. Superhuman stories that come out of it. What if we just started focusing on that and we go back to the heart and people opening the heart and what's happening with humanity? Now I'm encouraging people to look at that. Yes, dig into and what's your truth. And if you're one of them people out there trying to expose certain things, I really encourage that. I do. Being mindful that people are waking up to control and all these sorts of things. But at the end of the day, it's coming back to your heart. It's coming back to what's going to serve people, what's going to actually help people right now. Like I say, I feel that the coming couple of years, age of transparency, age of Aquarius, truth is being shown now. Transparency. I think stuff's going to come up for people out there that feel there's something off with, say an example, big fires. It seemed like they're like fire people over here. I've got friends in it and all that. And they say on the news, this is acting like a fire's never acted. Like people who have got 40 years experience there's bushfires in Australia. It's a natural occurrence in a lot of places. It's just such a topic that I've definitely got a bit of passion in it because I do my best to have some sort of high perspective, but I also, like I say, I witnessed spraying of the sky here, like at a certain time, like they're just crossways. It's not normal airplanes. They're way up and there's stuff spreading out. And even up here in Cairns, we're in the garden city of Australia. It's green, it's wet. We get, last year, I think we had 2 meters of rain. That's a lot of rain. It's green, but even up here's been drying out a lot. So all these little things that go, there's something else at play. And it sucks that the bad in humans or whatever the control is something that actually is giving opportunity. There's an element where it's giving opportunity for people to wake up, but to come back to their heart and compassion. And a lot of people, like I say, they're never going to get it. And I just send all my heart and to everyone involved in any tragedy around the world. Like
without a doubt, that's something I definitely want to get clear that what people have gone through over there, and I mean it is devastating, and it's just good to know that it's not all of Australia as well, like the media are portraying. And for the places that are burning, we send you lots of love, healing, and we hope everything comes back to
like I say, this brings resilience in humans. It brings that human spirit out. Like I say, people coming together, and it's unfortunate that tragedy does that. And it's like people like who've got pain, loss. It makes you act on something or act a bit different. It's unfortunate that it's coming about this way, but we actually get to choose now what lessons we take from this. We get to choose as the human race how we lead through this, or how we like express through this, or if we are going to expose whatever's been going on, or it's actually up to us. And I'll drop a perspective in here, and I don't know who I heard this from, whether it was something I was talking to or some shamanic work I was doing, and when it comes to spirit animals or the evolution of animals, I don't know where, but I was thinking when they said like 500 million animals have died, and I go back to Mother Earth purges. You look, when something happens, Mother Earth will form a new bacteria to eat rubbish or to clear pollution. A fire will happen where something bad, some bad energy's been, or a flood will wipe out a certain part. Near the story of Atlantis, for all the people who are into that out there. Certain things that I believe Mother Earth and the powers that be it God, be it universe, whatever, things happen to cleanse. Things happen, animals might be evolving into higher dimensions. You don't know. I believe that. Like, what are our spirit animals? The spirit of what? Like, I'm very visual with all them sorts of things. I connect with the hummingbird is mine, even though snakes are very prevalent.
You are the snake man after all, aren't you?
But what if these animals, that was actually their purpose and their role? What if? Like, I really drop that perspective in there for people to look at things from such a bigger picture, instead of just us little humans at the center of the universe and where all that matters. Let's go above that. Let's take it above.
Go to the macro.
Exactly.
Macro view, right?
That's it. And that perspective, like, if people don't like some of these things, they don't like hearing of it. It's got to be expressed. Because if we get stuck in this is what it is. Oh my God, we've lost. We're at the universal law of cause and effect. We're at the effect. Victimhood is bred, and it's humanity, even if we're not playing the victim, if that's what the vibration of humanity is vibrating at, it's going to have an effect, and a limiting effect on a lot of people. It's going to bring in our own victimhood too and give us an opportunity to work on it. So, so many elements to the fires and to things that are going on in the world right now, man, that there's lots of opinion out there. My opinion, for anyone listening, it totally is, but I intentionally share it just to have people just to maybe broaden their perspective on certain things.
Yeah, of course.
How we grow and evolve.
Absolutely. It's all about raising our consciousness, raising our vibration. Like, it is devastating what's happened, but now obviously we have to focus on ourselves as well, of how can we now become better? How can we now evolve? How can we raise our consciousness and help the planet? And that's what I've done. I've just set up a little thing. You might have seen it. It's called Cosmic Warriors. So we're coming together, and we want to get all of the people who are on the same path, who are feeling the same, who have been emotionally affected by this or whatever, to come together. And we just gonna, how can we raise our consciousness? How can we help raise the vibration of the planet? How can we go out there and do good as together, as a unit, as a collective, and all get on the same path? Because if we can all get on the same path, if we all have the same intention, that intention is going to multiply, and we're going to start doing more good. We're going to start giving more love. We're going to start really doing better things in this world. And if it wasn't for the ayahuasca that really woke me up, that catapulted me, it really brought something out for me, that even though I've had it before, I've always been a caring person, but it just really showed me everything that what we need to do on this planet is mega, and we can't do it on our own. So the more we can come together, and even just sitting here today interviewing you with your energy and your power, you're in Australia, I'm here in London. This is a collective. We're getting on the same tune. It's the ripple effect. And we can really go out and we can help our friends. And if one person just listens to this and goes, do you know what? I really resonated with that. I want to start doing better for myself. I want to start doing good. I want to start helping people. How can I get involved with that? And they start going on their own journey. All of a sudden, the consciousness is coming up. And the higher powers will be, as you spoke about it earlier, 2012 was a monumental time for the vibration. 2027's meant to be the next one. So,
we're going to put it out there. We're going to have a bet on. Is it a solar flash? What's happening then? Is it like Palladian spaceships are going to come down? What? I
don't know. It's just what I've been reading and what I've been hearing.
I agree. I feel it.
Is the next. We can see everyone's coming into people to stop eating meat now. Obviously, if you do eat meat, that's your choice. But a lot of people changing their diets, they're changing their thinking. People are taking up yoga. They're really starting to look after themselves and doing a lot more inner work, where we're raising our vibration and raising the consciousness.
That's what it does. If you want to break all of the stuff down we've been talking about, it simply we're shifting the densities, the heaviness. We're getting lighter, which is raising our frequency, our vibrational frequency. For us to evolve as humans, that's what we need to do. As a collective, that's the basic way I break it all down. So when you heal out there, if you're listening, thank you, because you're helping me heal, you're helping other people heal. That's how powerful we are.
Absolutely. I read something the other day. It was like, war is people who have got negative things going on in their mind. If we can come to peace, we can change the world. And it's like, it's so simple.
It is, isn't it? It's like 2020, my intention for this year, my intention last year was to build strength and resilience. And I tell you what, I had the challenges to give me opportunity to do that. This year's simplicity. That's my intention. Make things simple for people.
Love that.
Make things simple for myself. And even that's simple. It's too complicated out there. I just had an idea too. For everyone listening out there, I just had a really good idea. Since we've been talking about the heart and everything, what I'm going to do, instead of channeling a light language, activation healing. I actually just recorded one yesterday with 3 heart activations, physical with breath, and it's got a channeled process at the end. I will actually share that with you, and the listeners of this can click the link and get access to that. How's that?
You'll do that for free? Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, so just going further into that, it's just a 40-minute. It's pretty casual. It's something I shared with my clients because we are working on the heart this week, so super relevant, the timing. But it gives 3 quick processes where we're working with physically activating the heart space, let's say, with some intentional breath. 3 different ones. You can practice them. They're powerful, like to be able to use if you're overthinking a lot and you're not present, not connected, anything that we've shared, you're coming back to your heart, they're going to help you do it. I give some quick tips and everything in there. I think it'd be really, really cool to add this on. Instead of just channeling through like some magic, get into the heart physically first, makes it even more powerful, then be able to receive the coding that comes through. I think that'd be really, really cool for the guys out there.
Lovely. Very grateful for you giving us to our listeners. Should we have it up just for a certain amount of time so people have to get it, or do you want to just leave it for anyone who's got the podcast?
I'll feel into it.
Okay, let me know.
No, I think people will get onto it. I think it's a really good gift. I'm all about giving.
Lovely, thank you. Thank you very much.
Here's the thing with it out there, people. Practice it. Go back to the strategy I shared. If you've got stuff that's not going on, if you're stuck in your head, have an awareness that that's not serving you. Then you've got an understanding of all the things that aren't working. To disassociate that, do my heart activations and the channel thing over and over and over and over. And you watch how present you become, and then you'll probably get addicted to doing the work anyway. I have, so.
Oh, I have as well. Every day I can't wait to just start doing my inner work and just working on myself. I love it, absolutely love it. So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing with the In-Tune Tribe, the intuitive breakthroughs. How can people connect with you, and what do you offer?
Yeah, cool. Well, In-Tune Tribe is our Facebook tribe at the moment, where it's a very intimate, unique group. It's not a huge group where there's thousands of people where you can get lost. It's a unique group. People can come and go, but also we have certain boundaries in there too. Now, it's a free tribe. You can connect with us there. Joby will have the link. That's literally where we just share a little bit more than just our normal social media stuff. I think it's really, really important for people who want just to know a little bit more, or they want a bit more of an insight. It's also where we offer some of our programs and courses a little bit cheaper when they come up. But it's, like I say, that intimate place where I think when people are waking up, I think we actually need that early on in our journey. We have a bit of fun in there sometimes, as you would see, Joby. There's some stuff that goes in. There's a bit random, and we share a bit of things, but it's also a place where we want people to feel comfortable, where they can speak up and express without having to pay for it, without having to go, oh, I've got to be a client and things like that. I think that's what it is. And like I say, we do our best to give just that little bit more in there. So the link's there if you want to jump in and join. Ask us any questions. There's a couple of questions when you join the tribe. Like I say, you can come and go. There's no attachment for us. We'd love everyone to stay in there and get a lot out of it. But hey, we're all on a journey. As far as our courses and programs go, at the moment, we've got 2 main ones going. I've touched on it. Our tagline, you might be, is on your calling. Well, it's on your calling and change the world. We believe if you're on your soul calling, your soul contract and what's on it, your soul calling, once you honor that and act on that, be it your purpose and what you're here to do, you will change the world. We believe that. And our Honor Your Calling mastermind, that there is like 12 months, but you can come in at certain levels and certain pricing. But that literally is, we've talked about coding. I share something that's very, very precious to me, something that was channeled and come through with a combination of work. It's like coding your crystal. Like, we are crystalline. We've shifted our blood into crystalline blood. It never used to be that way. So now we can code that. There's certain things I teach and guide on that. And we do many activations in there. It's something where we've gone away from you have to do hours and hours of journaling and hours of work. We want people to receive in there. That's one program we've got going in the moment. Like I say, it's 12 months, but it is evergreen. So it continues. And the work evolves in there. There is a retreat that can be attended through that, which will be happening in Australia later in the year. More to come about that. We also help people starting out in business online too. It's not a huge part of what we do, but it is really, really important when people are like, all right, my purpose here is as a coach or a healer, I've got some skills, but oh my God, how do I show up writing content or doing a video, or how do I, like we teach a lot about the laws of influence. We go a lot into that. And we go into some strategy and some structure and some things to help. We go into a lot of money mindset and money energy work in that. And that's our activated business mastermind. So there's a number of avenues that we've got with that. And a couple of things that we've got, something that's not paid, and I can share it with you. I shared it with you the other day. I've got something really exciting called the Lion's Den.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Absolutely.
This has got me so friggin' excited. There's been times on my journeys where I've felt like something's missing, or I'm out of alignment, or something's not there. And over the last 12 months, I've had some challenges, like having a baby. For all you parents out there, it's brought up some stuff for me. It's brought up a lot of dad stuff, a lot of family stuff, a lot of work stuff and money stuff, and all these things over the last 12 months. And on that way, it's really helped me dig into, like, how can I impact more people? Like, how can I serve more people? And the Lion's Den is part of that. To bring that out is a YouTube channel. It's probably going to be on other platforms, but let's say it's a YouTube channel now, and it's going to have consistent guests similar like this, where we get on and have a chat. But the people who come on are going to be coded with, say, a lion or a lioness. Their journey is going to be courageous. They're going to embody courage. They're going to be a leader. They're going to be lead from the heart. They're going to be powerful in expression, in their voice. That's the sort of person that I'm going to have interview. Now, I have some amazing people in my network, as you know, who are ready and willing to come on and share. Some of
your mentors and some of your people around you are very, very powerful people. So I look forward to watching this for sure.
And with it from there, like I say, there's going to be other things that come out. And I really wanted to impact people with something that's not just our paid courses and programs, something that's not just Instagram and Facebook, something that's, like I say, the visual. I'm very visual, and people would see this. I'm like, I watch people who inspire me are showing up and say a YouTube or other platforms like that as that grows and evolves. So that's going to be the start of it. But there is other things to come from that. The work I've been doing myself, something I was shown on a medicine journey, was my higher self, and other journeys too, is actually Lyrian. An aspect of it is Lyrian has got a lion's head. I'm this big, tall, armored lion, like humanoid lion. And when I tap into that energy, holy shit, dude. So that's actually at the behind the surface stuff of, like, it's a channel or it's going to be a podcast and all that. That's what's behind it. I'm actually going to be rolling out some of the work, a lot of the work I do, and how it serves me. Like you mentioned laughter earlier, but working with that solar plexus energy, like when I tap into that work, I'm a lion. Holy shit, dude. You want to feel empowered within yourself. So that's at the core of that. And that's rolling out, say, in about a month or so time. Timing of that's important because I mentioned this earlier, something we really haven't announced to the world. We're up and hitting the road again. We're going to be running events and workshops and seminars all up and down the east coast of Australia. So that's happening within a month too. So all these things are lining up. But,
a lot going on.
Yeah, but anyone out there, like I say, it's unattached to anything. I just want to see people like be better for themselves, and whatever that comes of that, the people around them. If they have a vision to just have an amazing family life and just go about things comfortably, but feeling really, really whole and fulfilled in that. Or if you're here to impact thousands or millions of people, like, get in touch. Like, it all starts somewhere, or we can always use a bit of guidance or leadership or healing. I really believe that at any stage of our life. So definitely get in touch. And yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're going to have an exciting couple of years ahead as well. We get a collective together, and we'll come and do a retreat as well. We'd love to do something with you. Let's go to Peru
totally,
as
man.
Well.
Whew, Peru. I already told Chi. Chi's been she's been called to Peru this year, so it's off limit.
it's off limits for me because I tell you what, I'm still integrating some shit, dude. Like, there's still some moving parts that are still crunching and still some things that are shifting. And I'm like, you know what?
I'll go retune it.
Go for it. And I'm happy to give anyone. That's the other thing too.
When we're going to need to do an interview with you two together as well. That would be good.
Hey, it's going to be a rarity. That was our first live feed we recorded today. We recorded a live feed, first one in months. We used to do them all the time.
How can people watch that?
Just head over to, it actually was on just mine.
I
can send you the link for that. Yeah, just on my page.
I'll add that in, so it might be good for something for people.
Yeah, cool. Just to get a feel of how cruisy and casual we are talking about serious shit.
I love it. I love watching your lives. It's brilliant. No chill, but so open.
The other thing too, anyone's listening, we talk about ayahuasca a little bit, and like I think we're going to have to dive into more of this stuff over the coming months and everything. Definitely. But if you're looking for something that takes you away to Peru and everything, definitely get in touch. It's nothing to do with my business. I just have some amazing friends and amazing leaders in a space there that are working with the shamans that give what I believe is an AAA plus guidance. If it's something you want to go into, the immersion in Peru, 9.5 days over there. It's not just ceremonies and medicine. It's not just
got to cleanse your body and everything.
Purging, cleansing, activating. It's release work. There's NLP. There's recoding of your geometries. There's so much that goes in there. There's sound. There's so much more than maybe just going and have a ayahuasca ceremonies. Anyone out there, definitely get in touch about that. Like I say, there's nothing that comes to me from that. It's actually nothing to do with my business or anything like that. But I so would love people to experience what I've experienced because it is amazing. Yeah, really is.
Yeah, we'll definitely be in touch for that for sure. We're our little tribe's planning a little trip soon as well, so
cool.
We'll do that. But Steve, thank you for your time. We've literally been on about for an hour and 40 minutes, something like that. So
we made it through all the little technical things that keep popping up, the little gremlins.
Just little speed bumps, nothing to worry about. But guys, I hope you got value from this. Steve, it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend, my mentor. Can't wait to actually come over to Australia and meet you sometime as well, and sit down and really do some work with you as well. I know that will definitely happen soon.
Yeah, totally, man.
But guys, thank you. This is the OVERit Podcast, our Series 2, Episode 1. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Cheers, brother.
All right. 1 sec.